morning. Odeleke Mufifula reporting for Wisdom Yard Television. Ebonyi University sues for dialogue with striking unions. States are now to feed and accommodate inmates. Rauf Aregbesola. Eaglets to miss World Cup. 7 persons killed in Kaduna attack. Over 18,000 people enter Ethiopia from Sudan, UN. The management of Ebonyi State University has called on striking unions in the institution to embrace dialogue as they push for their demands. The unions include the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Students, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and other associated institutions, and the National Association of Academic Technologists, had on Thursday embarked on an indefinite strike over non-payment of their salaries and other entitlements. Patrick Etumo, who is the public relations officer of the institution, on Thursday, May 11, 2023, made a plea on behalf of the management in Abakaliki. He said the management is surprised that the union decided to embark on strike at this time in spite of the deep and far-reaching consultations it had with them. During the consultations, management has always laid bare the financial status of the university. By the words of God, management has been able to pay salaries up to March 2023. Governor David Umahi has promised to give the institution a grant to pay the remaining April 2023 salary. He added that the Governing Council at its emergency meeting with the unions on May 9, 2023, assured the unions of the unequivocal commitment of the management to settle the April and May 2023 salaries before the exit of this administration. Rauf Aregbesola, who is the Minister of Interior, says state governments will now be feeding and accommodating inmates in their states. He said this followed the recent consultational amendment which placed correctional services on the concurrent list. Aregbesola gave the insights while speaking at a 2-day high-level conference on the congestion and correction management on Thursday in Abuja. This simply means that states are now empowered to establish their own correctional services and facilities. States which do not have correctional facilities would have to pay the federal government for the feeding and accommodation of their inmates, Rauf Aregbesola stated. According to him, this is a huge relief to the federal government, which used to shoulder the burden of accommodating and feeding inmates. According to reports in 2023, the federal government had earmarked 22.44 billion naira to feed inmates across 244 correctional facilities across the country. The minister lamented that the huge amount was draining the corpus of the federal government. These facilities are being run by the federal government. It should also be noted that the criminal justice system of Nigeria makes provision for state and federal offences. However, until the amendment of the Constitution, only the federal government was in charge of custodial centers. According to reports, Golden Eaglets' hopes of qualifying for the 2023 Under-17 World Cup and winning the Under-17 African Cup of Nations for the first time in 16 years were dashed following a 2-1 quarter-final defeat to fellow West Africans Burkina Faso on Thursday. Forward Abubakar Kamara scored a brace to help the Burkini to a 2-0 lead at the Nelson Mandela Stadium in Algiers, but Eaglets forward Abubakar Abdullahi reduced the deficit midway through the second half, but it was not enough as Baby Stallions sealed a hard-fought win to reach the last 4 of the Under-17 AFCON in Algeria, as well as seal a World Cup ticket. Eaglets coach Uduka Ubagige did not make any changes to the team that defeated South Africa 3-2 in their last group game and that made a fine start to the game, but struggled to break Burkina Faso's defense. Suspected Fulani militias have again attacked and killed about 7 persons in Wakan village, Atab land in Zangon, Katab local government area of Kaduna State. It was reported that several houses were also razed down by the attackers, with the number of those injured yet to be ascertained. A source disclosed that the attackers stormed the village in the night in their numbers. The source further explained that one hardly understands the rationale behind these organized attacks and killings that have become the order of the day in Achep land. Most worrisome is the inability of those in authority, both at the federal and the state levels, to take concrete steps to bring an end to the attacks. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, UNOCHA, said on Friday, May 12, 2023, in its latest situation update that people arriving from Sudan to Ethiopia via the Metime border town have now reached more than 18,000, adding that over 440 people to date have entered Ethiopia via the Komog border crossing point in Ethiopia's Benishangul-Gumuzin region. According to the agency, no arrivals have been reported at the Pakan-Bubeye border crossing in Ethiopia's Cambelian region for the first time since the conflict began in Sudan. UNOCHA figures show that the arrivals are from 60 nationalities and the largest groups are Ethiopians, Sudanese and Turkish. The UNOCHA earlier announced that the shelter and reception areas were under construction for those who needed relocation and further medical support would also be provided. The headlines again. Ebonyi University sues for dialogue with striking unions. States announced to feed and accommodate inmates. Rauf Aregbesola. Eagles to miss World Cup. 7 persons killed in Kaduna attack. Over 18,000 people enter Ethiopia from Sudan, UN. Thank you for staying tuned. I am Odeleke Mufini Folua.